Let's continue talking about stablecoins. Why is Trump acting like this? Let's first take a look at the behavior of Trump, the big boss of the world. In January, right after Trump took office, literally right after almost, in his very first batch of executive orders, he put out this order to strengthen America's leadership in digital finance tech. This was in January, right after he signed it. Justin Sun immediately popped up. Then that guy who makes the space rockets, Elon, he started popping off too. Because of this order, the US president made it crystal clear. The whole country is going all Zen in on crypto. At the same time, this order explicitly banned the development of a digital dollar. Hey, pay attention here, I'm giving you the pure alpha, because as everyone knows, China is leaning toward developing a digital RMB. Their central bank issues the digital RMB itself, but the US has the Fed, the Federal Reserve. It has the massive Visa system, the massive MasterCard system, the massive SWIFT system. They're all based in the US. So the US has, you could say, tens of thousands of bankers from these banks, tens of thousands of top-10 tier Wall Street bankers, who actually couldn't care less about crypto, because that is old money. Right up until Liang Sen, mainstream US bankers were still saying crypto was basically a scam. This was a super common take among mainstream bankers. But President Trump, because of his unique background, isn't a traditional US president. He is more like a geek or a rock star crashing into the Washington swamp. So there is absolutely no way he and the Fed are going to see eye to eye. So Trump, as a result, had to carve out a totally new path. This invisibly had a fundamental impact on America's destiny, its financial destiny, that is. So he explicitly banned the US from messing with a digital dollar anymore. This basically set the tone. We, the United States of America, are taking a completely different future path than you, China. You ban crypto in China. We in the US absolutely support it to attract talent. You issue a digital RMB under your central bank. I'm saying the digital dollar is a no-gen go. The Fed shouldn't even think about it. Also in January, working non-Zen stop, Trump put his money where his mouth is. I was actually giving him shit for it at the time. He launched his own meme coin, Trump coin. Let's be real. It was just a cash grab. He jumped right into the mud himself. A few days later, Trump's wife Melania dropped her First Lady coin or whatever. A few days after that, his son dropped some little Trump coin. You know, that Shijo Gen old kid dropping a Sun coin. The whole family was testing the waters. Going crazy, totally soaking up the crypto madness and bubble. How much money they actually made is hard to say, because you can't always cash out crypto. But, through all these wild moves, his family members completely infiltrated, or rather, totally rubbed elbows with the crypto whales, OGs, and top talent. Kanku Kaifa, thank you. Hope you get rich. Hope your sex life is great. Seriously great. Haha. Anyway, hope you make bank. Once you make bank, your sex life is bound to be great, and you'll be healthy as a horse. Every day will be like a happy birthday. So Trump, in March, announced that the massive stockpile of Bitcoin seized by all levels of US law enforcement over the years would be made an American strategic crypto reserve asset, tossed into the National Reserve, not for sale, locked up, diamond hands. So, this was incredibly bullish for Bitcoin. It showed that the US nation officially recognized Bitcoin as a reserve. This is all a fundamental push. In April, Trump's own company issued what you could call the third most important, actually, not in US history, but in world history, in the history of global stablecoins, the third most important stablecoin, called Yuan, issued by his family. On May 2025, both houses of Congress started passing the FIT-21 Act, Genius Act. The FIT-21 Act involving crypto and stablecoins. Right after that passed, Hong Kong immediately passed their stablecoin draft regulations. The EU, Singapore, the UK, and even South Korea rushed to roll out stablecoin regulations. In just this one short year, even the People's Bank of China started discussing stablecoins. This was all because Trump led the charge. So what is a stablecoin? I know not all of our viewers are finance bros or crypto degens. Let's boil down the basic logic of stablecoins in one sentence. When people talk about stablecoins, they naturally think of Bitcoin. The founder of the digital currency Bitcoin is Satoshi Nakamoto, the father of crypto. You can think of stablecoins as Satoshi's alter ego, a mutation, going to the complete opposite extreme. Bitcoin and stablecoins are the two extreme ends of cryptocurrency, totally different. If you compare them to male and female, they split apart. One is a god, one is a demon, completely separated. What is crypto all about? It is about decentralization on the blockchain, right? That is what crypto is. Decentralized and completely anonymous on-chain, free from government interference. That is why Satoshi designed Bitcoin. We don't need to talk about what happened after he designed it. After it was designed, Bitcoin just exploded. What characteristic did Bitcoin show after it came out? It showed digital scarcity because of its cryptographic algorithm, the mining speed and mining cost. As more people adopt it, the more people who accept it, The slower the mining speed gets, it gets more expensive and more valuable. It requires way more compute power to mine, and ultimately fewer coins are produced. It created a digital gold. Real Bitcoin became this digital gold concept. It can hedge against US dollar inflation, meaning represented by Satoshi's Bitcoin. True decentralized crypto actually used its digital scarcity, its anti-central Genbank nature, and the privacy and security of the blockchain to fight back against US dollar inflation. The money printer going BRR. This made Bitcoin into digital gold. It highlights the yang function of money. What is the yang function? It is being a store of value. You can't be losing money holding it. It highlighted this function, but in this process, it strayed from the other function. As your yang, male organ grows bigger and bigger, your yin, female organ naturally disappears. Because you've become completely masculinized, what is the yin organ? Don't forget what it is called. It is a coin currency. It is not called gold. Coins are meant to be traded, meant to be used as money. So in real commercial business transactions, if your Bitcoin is appreciating every day, how do you trade with it? And while it is appreciating, it is also incredibly volatile. It is 100,000K today, could drop to 60,000K tomorrow, up to 250,000K the day after, and back down to 200,000K the day after that. How the hell do you reconcile your accounting? If we sign a contract for 6 months from now, what do we use? Do we settle based on the price when we signed or somewhere in the middle? Do we use the high, the low, or the average? It causes a ton of headaches. So based on the massive reality that global trade relies primarily on the US dollar, a strong demand for that yin function emerged in the crypto space. So the yin organ grew bigger and bigger, and the yang organ just atrophied. That scarcity, that inflation hedge, gone. Why? Because they just wanted its stability. Just peg it EBE to the US dollar. Let's stop doing the math and just use it like a digital greenback. If Bitcoin can rival gold, becoming digital gold, trading it is definitely easier than trading physical gold. Gold is a physical object, it is very inconvenient. But the US dollar is also inconvenient. Why? Because the banking system has become a massive cartel of vested interests. The global banking system, from China to the US, from Japan to Canada. Banks are all just avatars of the government, no exceptions. They all speak bureaucratic bullshit. They're super conservative and incredibly inefficient. If I want to buy something from you and we try to wire some money, it is a massive fucking pain. Enter the digital dollar. The digital dollar is the stablecoin. Stablecoins are the true digital dollars. So technically speaking, a stablecoin is also a cryptocurrency. It is also based on blockchain tech. Fundamentally, it is no different from Bitcoin. They are both digital currencies built on blockchain cryptography. No difference at all. So where is the difference? No difference in tech, but a difference in logic. The underlying logic is totally different. If Bitcoin targets storing value and appreciating, the stablecoin's underlying logic targets the demand for transactions. The transaction needs of global trade and human society are the root reason money was invented in the first place. We humans didn't invent money just to store value. We invented it so Tribe A's seashells could be traded for Tribe B's bone needles, and Tribe B's bone needles for Tribe C's beef. So trading, commodity trading, is the true demand for currency. So when stablecoins emerged, with their core logic targeting global trade demand, rather than the investment demand of storing value, it naturally dictated that its value must be stably pegged to the US dollar. 1-to-1. Of course, once you hear this logic, you instantly become an expert. You extrapolate and connect the dots. You say, Old Wang, can I issue a gold stablecoin? A silver stablecoin? Can I issue an RMB stablecoin, Euro, Yen, CAD, ORD stablecoin? Absolutely, in this world. Any private company, as long as your tech is up to par, you've got the blockchain tech down, your cryptography is solid and you won't get hacked, you can issue your own stablecoin. So that wraps up the second topic. The first topic we covered was Trump and America's pivot. The compass needle basically set the direction for the whole world. They're the global top dog. What can you do? For the second topic, we covered the difference in the core underlying logic between stablecoins and Bitcoin. No difference in tech, just a difference in core logic. Third topic, how big is the stablecoin pie? Like I just said, it is not about whether you can issue one. Literally anyone with a pulse can mint one. You can mint a big old Wang stablecoin, pegged directly to big old Wang's body weight. The real issue is whether people recognize it, whether they trust you and actually use it. Tiantang Lunhui, thank you. Hope you make bank, man. Who is driving? You could probably trim the hedges down there. Anyway, so will people accept you? It is not about whether you can code it. Coding it is easy. Because stablecoins target the need to trade, right? So the real difficulty of a stablecoin lies in the trust of the transaction, right? I print a bill. You don't accept it. The village chief prints a bill. It might be accepted in the village, right? A country prints money. It is accepted in that country. But who accepts your stablecoin? So for real acceptance, we have to look at the rise and emergence of stablecoins. What is real acceptance? It is the market's acceptance. It is not about the tech. The tech isn't hard. What does the market want? The market wants maximum efficiency and minimum cost, which means it is actually competing against the legacy banking system. If the banking system's inefficiency and high costs become a bottleneck limiting a ton of modern human transactions, then the rise of stablecoins is bound to start right there in the middle. So we have to talk about the current #1 stablecoin in the world, the biggest market cap, which is the Sozen called USDT. Our boy boss Jai loves having people send him U. This is the most mainstream stablecoin in the world, with over 5% market share. So is this stablecoin backed by US President Trump or Chinese President Xi Jinping's brother Jianlong? Nope, it is issued by a company called Tether. Anyone in crypto knows it, a totally sketchy private company called Tether. It is a very unserious company. They only started operating in August 2014. By August 2014, I was already retired. That tells you how ragtag they are. This amateur crew doesn't even hold a candle to my background. Their founding team consisted of an Italian plastic surgeon. You heard that right. Plastic surgery is a very lucrative industry. I don't know why he gave it up to join crypto. A former Hollywood child star, a washed, jan-up actor, played in movies as a kid in Hollywood named Brock, and a software geek engineer. These guys formed Tether. Where did they set it up? Well, wherever the criminals go, they go, the British Virgin Islands. They set up Tether Holding Limited in the BVI. Initially, their idea was super simple. Exactly what I just talked about. A lot of people were doing it back then, a digital currency, pegged EBE to the US dollar. But surprisingly, the thing these guys built, especially that software geek, he built it pretty well. And the key is, they actually operated with some integrity. The Italian guy hooked them up with a somewhat reliable exchange, and they sold more and more on this exchange. They kept their word and didn't just pull a rug. So unexpectedly, in just a few short years, this ragtag crew of 4 guys built $100 billion stablecoin empire, USDT. And of course, the child star and the Italian plastic surgeon are now among the richest, most mysterious figures on this blue planet. Just a few years ago in 2014, they were basically broke. By 2015, they became the richest symbols in the world. So they didn't rely on the government at all. Absolutely no government involvement, didn't rely on policy at all. Not only did they not rely on it, they actually actively dodged policy. This is the rise of stablecoins. It had to come from betraying the central bank system. Winning by surprise, though later I'll talk about how they joined the mainstream. They came back into the system. Because, after all, the world is made of people. So Tether took advantage of this regulatory vacuum. Countries had absolutely no idea what a stablecoin was. Except China, who reacted fast and busted them immediately. While the rest of the world was totally clueless, they took the wild path and grew like weeds. Out of the British Virgin Islands. Even if China wanted to catch them, they couldn't. These guys are foreigners. You might ask, why didn't the Chinese pull this off? You gotta thank Comrade Li Keqiang. Li Keqiang had them all arrested back then. If China hadn't banned it at the time, let me tell you, stable coins, stable RMB, stable USD, Tether might never have had a chance. USDT wouldn't have had a chance. There were Chinese guys doing it back then too, but that is hindsight. China just snapped and arrested them all. Because these guys were American and Italian, they couldn't be touched by Chinese arrests. By the time they blew up and the US wanted to arrest them, they were already filthy rich. So today, they operate out of Iran, Russia, Venezuela, Belarus, Georgia. See how badass that is? Their global offices aren't in the US or Canada. They work out of America's enemies' backyards, especially Iran, which became their main base. Pretty interesting, right? And the founders can still fly anywhere in the world. Subtle, isn't it? You're asking, why not just arrest them? If you arrest them, everyone depends on them now. Even the US can't live without them. So USDT became the money laundering hub for the cartel underworld and the dark web. A booming tool that everybody needs. Unreports call USDT the #1 choice for global syndicate money laundering. But the world is very realistic. USDT's growth and massive liquidity exist exactly because it perfectly evades all governments, even the US government. That is why it became the stablecoin everyone agrees on. So how does they play the game with this issuance pie? Basically, on a crypto exchange, however many dollars you wire to the stablecoin issuer, like Tether, they mint that exact amount of USDT for you. And they simultaneously promise unconditional reverse redemption. Whenever you want to redeem, boom, they give you your dollars right back. Super convenient. One Zen click settlement. One Zen click trading. You might say, Old Wang, this sounds kind of like Alipay or Yuebao. Exactly, your Alipay balance or Yuebao. You're spot on. Think about how easy it is to deposit RMB into your Taobao Alipay account, or how easy it is when Alipay pays you back in RMB. Tether's USDT is exactly that convenient.